Hi, this is Suey778 coming at you, and today on the channel I've got the DMM Check Plus LC Daughterboard to show you. I do want to say thanks to Russ over at DMMCheckPlus.com for sending this out to the channel, for review. And what we're going to do today is we're going to show you how to install this onto this. So let's get right to it. But before we do that, I'm going to show you what it comes with. Obviously we have the daughterboard itself, and again, be sure you discharge yourself before you ever touch anything like this, because this is really delicate stuff. And what you get on this board is 4 high precision capacitors and also 4 high precision inductors. And then you get the little half risers to install it on. Besides that, you also get a certification sheet, which I'm going to show you here real quick. I'm going to move this just to show you. So you do get a certificate with this as well, along with the devices that were tested and their certifications, etc., 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 and serial numbers and all that good stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this centered, and we will show you how to install this. Okay, and basically all you need for the installation here is a screwdriver. In this case, we're going to use my electric one. So very simple. The first thing you will need to do is remove these 4 screws that are holding this faceplate down, or this protective shield plate, I should say. Alright, now very gently lift this off, and we're going to need to take the screws out, but be very careful with this cover. You want to keep it wiped down, otherwise you're going to have smudges all over it when you put it back on. So what we're going to do here is we're going to replace 3 of these risers, these original length risers, and leave one of them. The one up here in the upper left hand corner is the one that we're going to keep. So we're going to remove these other 3 and get those out of the way. All right. So next we're going to put take 3 of these smaller risers and kind of let them line them up as best you can here. They don't have to be exact, and you'll see why later. Doesn't have to be exact. Okay. Then you want to take your daughterboard, and again, I'm discharging myself off screen here. Take your daughterboard and very gently, it's going to the best way that I find to put this on is this way. You can do it another way, but this seems to make the most sense. Okay? So you want to very gently lay it on there. Again, it does not have to be perfect. You just need to kind of generally get it there. Okay, now you want to take your other 3 risers and set them on top of these holes. And like I said, yeah, it moves around a bit, plus I'm kind of at a weird angle here, so if I look like I'm a little bit crippled, it's because, well, I am. I'm just at a strange angle. So anyway, you want to put these little risers on top of the holes here. You see, and these are very light. When you're taking these out of the package, be careful, because they will go everywhere if you're not careful. They like to do that, and they like to roll. Okay, so we can get this static sheet out of the way. Anti-static sheet, I should say. Alright, so the next thing you want to do here is we need to take these screws out. So we're going to get all of those out of the shield here. And what I typically do, anytime you're messing around with something like this, is you want to wipe this down on the side that's going to be facing downward. Make sure it's nice and clean, otherwise you're just going to have smudges there that you can't wipe off, and you would have to unscrew it to do so. So just wipe that off real good, and be careful not to oh, and actually we got something on this little bit of dust or something there. Let's get that out of there. Yeah, that's no good. All right. And then you want to set this right on top, and like I said, try not to touch the bottom so it'll be nice and clean and pristine looking. Okay, like I said, doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to let gravity do the work for us. So the first thing you should do is probably put in, drop a screw in here to the original riser, the one that's staying behind, and let it fall down in a hole. So that'll give you a little bit of an anchor, okay? And then next, I typically would do the opposite here. And again, you just kind of have to finagle it and get all the holes lined up to where it'll go down. It's a little bit tricky, especially doing this first one. Okay. We're going to do the another one here. And again, like I said, it's just working them through the holes. You don't have to do anything. Just make sure that it's not sliding around the bottom like it's locking, as you can see there. And of course, I've managed to push this one out of the way, but just be careful. And then you want to do this last one, like so. Now, there are other ways you can do this. I just find that gravity just works best here. And there you go. So we got them in and we got them started. So you want to take your screwdriver and put these down about halfway. Just get them started. Oh, get in there. Okay, and at this point, we've got them locked in. So now we can just put them all the way down. In fact, let me get that flashlight on so we can see what we're doing here a little bit better. Yep, just do the opposite sides here. And there you go. You've got a upgraded DMM Check Plus. Okay, before we get started with the measurements here, I ran into a little bit of a conundrum with this certification. I'm going to need to talk to Russ about this, but in particular here, it is this 10 nanofarad capacitor. As you can see, it is 0.010 and what appears to be a 7. But I really think that's more of, should be a 0.07 because it is missing 1 0. I was looking at another video of this and it seems like this is missing one of its digits. There should be another 0 in here, so this really should be about 10.07 nanofarads. So, and I had made myself a chart here so I wouldn't have to like keep crumpling these certifications up. So what we have here is, see, is the capacitor here. I have it because according to this measurement here, see, that's, have them both on the screen there, I hope. See, that looks like that indicates 10.7. Well, everything is reading it around 10.1, you know, or 10.08, things like that. Everything that I've tried. So I think that's really should be 10.07. So we're going to change that. In fact, the only one that does read it as 10.7 is my Fluke. But the problem with the Fluke is it is way off on everything else on these other three. So we're going to bill it as that. I think that is the correct measurement. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the, I just wanted to point that out before anybody throws any questions at me about that. Unfortunately, that is what's going on with that. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the measurements here. Let me get my leads out. Okay, so here we go with the testing. This is going to be done with the UT8804N. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to test the inductors with this one, but I've got a little BSIDE meter that we can, so we'll do that next. But for right now, we're going to test the capacitors on the UNI-T UT8804N. So the first thing we're going to do is I need to put this in a manual range because I do get a little bit of interference off of this particular one. This first one should be 992 picofarads, so let's go ahead and rel this out. I'm going to put the lead on here, and then we're going to put the red one on here. Try to clear that out as best we can. It's really hard to see. Like I said, we're getting more here. All right. This is not going to be perfect. All right, so let's just go ahead and measure. Let's see how close we can get here. This should be 992 picofarads, and we are getting it as 1.005 nanofarads. I would say that's close enough. That's 13 picofarads off. That's partly the interference coming from, because I've got this, I think the power over on this side of the house is a little bit noisy. I think that's where we're getting that from. Anyway, all right, so let's go ahead and put it up into the, let's take the rel off and then put it up in the next range, which is going to be nanofarads, and we're going to rel it out again. Now this next one, again, this is the one with the conundrum, so we're talking about, we have determined that it must be 10.07 nanofarads. So let's go ahead and see what we get. And we're getting 10.09 nanofarads. So yeah, like I said, I rest my case. Pretty good there. All right. Need to go up to the next one. I need to go up to the next range. I don't think I'm going to need to rel it out at this point. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so this next one should be 100.6 nanofarads. And we are getting it as 100.8 nanofarads. So again, pretty decent. All right, and then this last one is going to be, let me need to bump up the range again one more time. This next one should be 1.007 microfarads. So let's see what we get here. And it is reading it as 1.029 microfarads. Again, quite close, and looks pretty good. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch over to the B side. Let me get reset here, and we'll test the inductors as well. Okay, now I got reset here with the BSIDE ESR02 Pro. It's just a cheap little $35 ECR meter, or ESR meter I should say. Technically it's an LCR meter. Measures all kinds of things, pretty handy little device to have. So let's go ahead and start with the caps again. So let's go ahead and fire it away. Let's see what we get. Again, this should be 992 picofarads, and we are getting 994 picofarads, so pretty good. Okay, next up is the 10.07 nanofarad. And it is reading it as 10.02 nanofarad, so again, pretty decent. All right, let's do the next one. This should be 100.6 nanofarads, and we are getting 100.4 nanofarads. Again, quite good. All right, last but not least, we're going to do the 1.007 microfarad. Let's see what we get on this one. Basically, it is reading it as 1013 nanofarads, which basically translates to 1.013 nanofarads. So again, not too shabby. A little bit off. It actually got a little bit closer than my UNI-T meter did. So, score for that, I guess. All right, let's go ahead and move over to the inductors. So we're going to work our way over this. We're going to work from right to left here. So let me go ahead and get this in. This first one's going to be should be 1.125 microhenries. I don't think we're going to be able to get a reading on this because, as you can see here, the bottom range of this is 0.01 microhenries, which is basically 10 microhenries. So I don't think we're going to be able to do it. But let's try it anyway. And we are getting, yeah, just a resistance reading. That's kind of what I figured. All right, well, no worries. All right, so let's go to the next one. This one should be 10.73 microhenries, so this should be in the range. Just barely, but okay. And we are getting a resistance reading, and it is showing it as 0.01 microhenries. All right, so that's basically 10, or 0.01 millihenries, I should say. So yeah, 10 microhenries. Close enough. All right, the next one is going to be, or supposed to be, 106.3 microhenries. Let's see what this reads it as. Again, resistance reading, and it is reading it as basically 100 microhenries, 0.10 millihenries. Okay. Last but not least, we've got a 1 millihenry inductor on here, and this inductor is supposed to be 1.052 millihenries. So let's see what we get. Okay, again we get a resistance reading, and it is saying that it is 1.0 millihenries. So not too bad. So there you go, and that's going to do it. So nice addition to the DMM Check Plus, I do believe. This makes it an even more useful tool, because now not only can you test standard multimeters, but you can also fully test any LCR meter. So once again, I do want to say thanks to Russ for sending this to the channel for us to review and look at. Appreciate that very much. And that's going to do it. I definitely give this product a thumbs up, and definitely recommend it. If you're willing to pay for this box loaded like this, I definitely would get one of these. This is a very handy tool to have, especially if you own more than one multimeter. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. This is SUI 778, and thanks for watching.